Live and local from Fox 7, this is Good Day Austin.
Right now at 8 o'clock, the Austin City Council is taking on ride-sharing rules again today. Nick Spinetto has a live report on how you can become involved in the issue.
Plus, new details about a toddler who's been missing for 5 years.
Plus, 2 candidates have dropped out. We have more from the campaign trail coming up.
8 o'clock on your Thursday morning. Thanks so much for joining us. It's moments like this where you have to remind yourself that it was not even a week ago. We were in the mid-80s.
Just a couple days ago. I know.
Here.
A few spots flirting with 90 degrees, and now it really feels like wintertime again. Walking through the house this morning, there was a chill in the house. I had to crank up the heater. Yeah, turn off the AC, turn on the heater. That cold air really building on in. Across the entire state, not too many warm spots. And I would say more than half the area in that freeze zone. 27 in Georgetown, 22 in Fredericksburg, a few spots in the upper teens out across the western hill country, even cooler than 24 hours ago. The good thing is the winds have really backed off, but enough breeze to put wind chills in the 20s from Giddings all the way out toward Fredericksburg. Crystal clear skies. Not a great day to do some cloud watching, no doubt about that. Nothing but blue sky. Pretty simple forecast. Sunny, cold start, sunny, chilly finish with less wind. Highs climbing into the mid to upper 50s. Could this sunny streak be threatened by this next Pacific low? Find out with that 7-day forecast coming up very shortly. Right now, send it out to Randy Taylor, ladies in traffic.
Well, right now, so far this morning, all you're really going to need to worry about are those rush hour delays. You can see our mobile traffic camera starting to hit the brakes here for just a little bit as there is lots of congestion on the main lanes. But other than that, we are incident free. Our accident that we had northbound 35 approaching Woodward has cleared. You still are going to see some of those residual delays back to FM 1327. But other than that, just rush hour delays all around the metro. So if you're about to head out your door and travel southbound on 183 from the toll road to the 35 ramps, you're almost to a 30-minute drive. I'm Randy Taylor, Fox 7 Traffic.
This morning, the Austin City Council will again tackle the topic of ride-sharing rules in the city. It'll be the first council meeting since a petition to change the rules was verified and a special election became a real possibility. Today, the public can weigh in on that issue as well. Fox 7's Nick Spinetto is live at City Hall with more. Morning, Nick.
Hi, good morning to you, Dave. And new this morning, Austin Mayor Steve Adler says he wants to keep Uber and Lyft in the city, and this morning we'll be presenting a new option to do it. Now, this issue has been a hot topic since December when the city wanted to move forward with controversial changes to ride-sharing rules, including requiring drivers be fingerprinted. But the group Ride Sharing Works for Austin circulated a petition against changing the rules and got enough signatures from Austinites supporting the cause, calling for a special election in May. Though moving forward with an election could cost the city up to $800,000. This morning, Mayor Adler says if the city accepts the ordinances as is, it could not be changed for 2 years. So at today's council meeting, he will call for a third option. He says it should make everyone happy, including keeping incentive programs for drivers who voluntarily get fingerprinted. Mayor Adler wrote in a statement to us, quote, "The Austin Innovation TNC ordinance would specifically prohibit mandatory fingerprinting and clearly allow incentive programs such as the Thumbs Up badge. In concrete terms, this would not take anything away from Uber and Lyft drivers who choose not to participate. This could allow Austin to reward our city's ride-sharing drivers with hundreds of thousands of dollars."
The council does not wish any TNC to leave the Austin community or the drivers who depend on those companies. But that's a choice for the TNC themselves to make.
The easiest way forward is for the council to decide to adopt the ordinance outlined in the petition. Then we wouldn't have to go through the time or expense of having an election in May, and we can just decide to listen to the people now.
Now, a lot of people are expected at this morning's meeting. It starts at 10 o'clock right here at City Hall. Back to you.
All right, Nick, thank you very much. Now, this morning, we've been asking, should ride-sharing companies be required to do those fingerprint background checks on their drivers? You can weigh in on it. Text yes, no, or not sure to 81419. Message and data rates may apply. Voters will receive one message confirming their vote, and we'll give you the results in about a half hour from now.
5 years ago, a toddler went missing on a cold winter night in New Braunfels. Now, New Braunfels police are revealing new details in their investigation. They originally said when Joshua went missing, 7 adults and 2 children were in the home in the 2600 block of Savannah Hill Circle. Now police say drugs were found that night. They say it looked like the people in the house tried to clean up the drugs before calling to report the boy's disappearance. Members of Joshua's family, including his mother Sabrina, believe police have not been doing a good job. New Braunfels PD feels the family isn't being completely truthful about what happened that night.
Every person that was inside the house the night of Joshua's disappearance has been interviewed multiple times. So at this point, again, we believe that the family and those that were in the house that night have not been fully truthful with the information about the events of that night, and we're asking them to search deep into their hearts.
I have no doubt in my heart, or I've never had a feeling, mother's intuition, that my son's gone. I believe that someone has him, someone's scared to come forward, someone doesn't want to do the right thing, and I'm begging, that's what I'm here begging and pleading for.
Sabrina Davis has admitted marijuana was in the house, but not when Joshua went missing. If you know anything about this case, call New Braunfels Police.
Law enforcement agencies across the country are looking for ways to fine-tune their response strategies for possible terror attacks. AFD Chief Rhoda Mae Kerr says we have to be prepared for anything. She testified this week before the Senate Committee on Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs. Kerr says fire departments need to be informed about who to look out for and where threat targets are. She also wants to improve communication for first responders across agencies. To tackle that, Congress has approved the construction of a nationwide broadband network.
If we look back on 9/11, where it was a huge coordinated attack using airplanes on several critical sites, nowadays it's more lone wolf, and it's not big media draw, but it goes for injury, and it's use of explosives and fire and all different aspects that change the threat.
With a nationwide broadband network, AFD could get information on chemical storage, hazardous materials, or anyone known to have terrorist ties.
Wildfires in Travis County threaten more than just land. They put firefighters in harm's way as well. Now, officials are asking the city of Austin to come up with a new protection plan. The Labor Day wildfires in 2011 left behind our country's largest per capita loss in U.S. history. That's according to Austin's wildfire plan. The city has a plan in place, but now wants AFD to implement a city code to cover everything from protecting the structures and the open land to evacuations. Back in 2011, the Bastrop fires ravaged nearly 1,600 homes and burned through 34,000 acres of land. As Austin continues to grow, more people are building neighborhoods that back up to open land, which are more vulnerable to wildfires. The code would put requirements in place for construction features such as using non-flammable wood for decks and ceiling vents.
Moving forward, we feel like that we can do better, make our homes and make our city more resistant to wildfires and reduce those potential catastrophic losses with this wildland urban interface code, which would just talk about best practices to manage land and how we would want homes to be constructed.
The code would affect future development. The Public Safety Commission is reviewing the proposal. If it passes, the next step would be to present it to the City Council.
Two more Republicans have dropped out of the race for the White House as the two remaining Democrats pound away at one another in the lead up to New Hampshire. Fox's Doug Luzader has a look at the races this morning from Washington.
Rand Paul and Rick Santorum are out, and one of them offered a big endorsement. Meantime, among Democrats, Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders are playing the expectations game in New Hampshire. Well, Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders made separate appearances at this town hall show last night in New Hampshire. They clearly had their sights set on one another.
Good ideas on paper are important, but you've got to be able to translate them into action to get results for people.
I do not know any progressive who has a super PAC and takes $15 million from Wall Street. That's just not progressive.
And Sanders still stinging a bit from Iowa, even though he came in a strong second, and questioning how some delegates were chosen by coin flips. Republican Donald Trump going a step further, accusing Iowa GOP winner Ted Cruz of cheating by sending out official-looking mailers urging wayward voters to caucus.
What he did is a disgrace, and it's a disgrace to the electoral process, to be honest with you, Greta.
And while Cruz and Marco Rubio, who came in a strong third in Iowa, try to build on their momentum heading into New Hampshire, two others have given up. Rand Paul's libertarian and isolationist messaging never really caught traction as national security became a focus. And Rick Santorum, who won Iowa back in 2012, is also out, throwing his support behind Rubio.
He is the new generation and someone that can bring this country together, not just moderates and conservatives, but young and old.
And that embrace of Rubio and stressing his youth, that's the sort of thing that we may see more and more from establishment Republicans as Rubio rides that big wave from Iowa. In Washington, Doug Luzader, Fox News.
All right, coming up, the commercials in some ways are just as big as the game.
So what makes a Super Bowl ad flop or come out on top? We're going to tell you next.
Well, the cool down we had yesterday, just the beginning. We're waking up in that freeze zone. Looks like we have another freeze tonight. Then as we go into the weekend, look forward to a slow warming trend. But will we see more sun than rain with that next Pacific low moving on by? Find out with that 7-day forecast coming up next.